Fielder, author and creator behind Algebra Elevated, and today I want to talk to you about my favorite graphing calculator project. Now, as an Algebra 1 teacher, I use this towards the end of the year in my classroom because it requires that they know a little bit about function families and how their graphing calculator works. But if you're a higher grade, you could definitely use it at the beginning of the classroom or kind of in the middle if you have some space. I also like to do it when we have a big trip that I go on, and I do it while I'm out on the trip for a couple of the days because the students can kind of do a lot of it on their own. And so it's great if you have that kind of time that you're trying to fill in your classroom. So let me show you what the activity is. Now, if you purchase this through TPT, everything is editable, so you can kind of tweak it based on what works best in your classroom. So here's what it looks like. This is the handout I give your students. So they're going to use a graphing calculator to create a color-coded image using function families that they've learned throughout the year. My directions are that they have to use at least 6 different equations and one from the 4 function families that we focus on: linear, absolute value, quadratic, and exponential. This sheet right here is kind of for them to brainstorm. They can draft their picture, but what I ultimately want is them to show me that picture on the graphing calculator, because then it encourages, they know how the functions work and they know how to use their graphing calculator. Now you might be like, this is kind of hard. It is, but these are some of the great projects that have come out of this. So this first one, a man's playing basketball, the sunrise in the middle, the water bottle, simple but hard to do on a graphing calculator, the heart, and then the kite with the little hills so that they hit all the requirements. Super creative things. And then you'll get some other ones that are like a smiley face or something else, but you never know, and your kids will always surprise you. So it's so fun. Now, this is kind of challenging, so also included in this are a lot of tutorials for you and your students, as well as some instructions. So again, everything's editable, so you can change the requirements, you can change anything. First, there's some Google Slides versions of that kind of handout that I give my students. I put in Google Slides because what I actually do is my students get the handout in person, but then they need to take a picture of their calculator screen. That's kind of where these are from, and they put it on the Google Slides to then submit it. Obviously, if you're not Google Classroom, that might not be the most helpful, but there are some slides options there. Then there's just an overview of the whole project if your students need some video instruction if you're not going to be there. And then there is some step-by-step and video tutorials about how to change different things. And this one's about changing the line colors because, believe it or not, that's kind of complicated if you're not used to it. So that's how to change the line colors on a TI-83 graphing calculator. And then this is the step-by-steps for how to restrict the domains. So if you've seen in these samples, a lot of them required that domain to be restricted to kind of create the effect that they want to. Some students can get by most of the project without restricting the domain, but then others are going to restrict every equation. So there's the steps for that. And then there's also another step for how to create a picture using more than 11 equations. Now, again, the requirement is 6, but some people, in order to get the picture that they want, they need to use more than 11. So then that instructional video and step-by-step will kind of talk you through that. So I hope this is kind of sounding exciting. If it's something you're interested in doing with your own students, there is a link in the description below for where you can purchase this, and all the videos are included, obviously. And if you have fun doing this in your classroom, definitely leave a comment below of what some of the more interesting pictures that your students created. I always love hearing what some other students will make. With that, I hope you enjoy elevating your math classrooms and have a wonderful day.